Hello and welcome to Burning Issues, the only city-sponsored program where you get to see the insides of the Wichita Fire Department. Today we're very happy to have with us a special guest. He is Randy Bargdell, the director of the Sedgwick County Emergency Communication Center, better known as 911. Randy, thanks for being with us.
I appreciate you inviting me, Chief.
Now, you've been a long-time member of the public safety community with quite a background in law enforcement, but prior to that you had military experience. So tell us a little bit about your background.
Sure. Like 5 days out of high school, I was marching in Marine Corps boot camp. So I was in the Marine Corps for 4 years, and about 11 days out of the military, I joined the Wichita Police Department and served there for 20 years and 3 months. And then I left the city, retired, and went over to Sedgwick County 911 and learned to become a dispatcher.
Now, your time with the police department, you had a variety of assignments, I believe.
I did.
Talk to us about that.
I had the occasion to work as a patrol officer in the western part of the city. I was promoted to detective, where I worked in sex crimes and in homicide. I flew the helicopter for a little while. I was promoted to lieutenant and worked in patrol for about 2 years, and then went undercover for my last 7 years on the police department.
Outstanding. Well, you wound up, or today you're at 911. What led to the decision to seek employment there?
I've always enjoyed working in the public safety arena, and once I left the police department, I went over as a dispatcher. I spent about 1.5 years there and decided I didn't get all the cop out of me yet, so I went back to state parole, and I was a parole officer there for a little while. But and then I saw that there was an opportunity within the administration of 911, and that was the part that I was really most interested in. I joined the ranks of the administration of 911 in 2002, and I've been there ever since.
Okay, now that gives you 10 years there. You know, one of the things that has always struck me throughout my career in the fire service is how important 911 and dispatchers and call takers are to the citizen's safety. In fact, I often say no emergency starts without a call to 911. And there are a number of things that I know you guys pay attention to, and you measure call processing time and dispatch time and those kind of things. What are some of the measures that you guys look at as it relates to processing a call?
We've learned over the years that it's extremely important to get those resources to the right place in the right amount of time safely. And so one of the things that we measure is how long does it take from the time we pick up the telephone until the call is dispatched to the appropriate unit. And so we break that down by the priority of the call. Emergency calls, primarily your fire calls and your medical calls, we have a period of 60 seconds from the time that the call is entered into the CAD system until it's dispatched to the field units. Some of the other priorities, like report calls and whatnot, we have a longer amount of time to get those out. But on the emergency calls, we make every effort to get them processed and dispatched within 60 seconds.
And you also work with our law enforcement community, both the sheriff and city officers, or their calls are handled through your center.
That's correct. We're now dispatching for 29 different agencies throughout Sedgwick County. That's law enforcement, fire, and EMS.
Now, the dispatch of the 29 agencies, what are some of those communities? What are some of the larger and smaller communities there?
We dispatch, obviously, for the city of Wichita. We've most recently brought on the dispatch responsibilities for Derby and Hayesville, the Derby Police, Derby Fire, as well as Hayesville Police Department. We dispatch for Mays and Colwich, Andale, Garden Plain, Goddard, Bel Air, Park City, Keachai, Cheney.
Now, one of the misconceptions about your operation is that you're part of the police department. So talk to us about the structure. How does 911 fit into local government here?
In about 1977, it was decided through the local community that the dispatching operations and the telephone call taking through 911 should be centralized and placed in its own organization. At that time, it was a City of Wichita, Sedgwick County joint effort But as time has gone on, the Sedgwick County has completely adopted the Emergency Communications Department as a county entity. So we do work for the police department and the fire department, but we don't answer to them. We are our own agency, and that's a common misconception that whenever sometimes a citizen calls up, they believe they're speaking to a police officer. Okay. And so we have to be really careful there not to give out legal advice, but to hand them off to the appropriate agency.
So the center is made up then primarily of dispatchers, call takers, supervisors?
That's correct. We have a total of 86 people that are employed by Sedgwick County Emergency Communications. 6 of them are administrators, and the other 80 make up the operations of 911. We have 8 supervisors, and then the remaining staff are call takers and dispatchers.
Now, you had mentioned that there are emergency calls, or those things that I think most people would associate with a 911 call.
Correct.
And then there are other types of calls. Give us some examples of the calls that go into your center.
We get everything from a dead animal in the middle of the roadway to somebody who is experiencing a cardiac emergency or a shooting situation or any kind of medical emergency that you can think of, from a seizure to somebody who has stopped breathing.
Now, the non-emergency calls, can you define that?
Pretty much anything that is not life-threatening, things that are more of a report nature, a situation where maybe a person was on vacation and they came home and found out that their unattached garage had been broken into sometime within the last 2 weeks. That's a non-emergency call, but it is something that needs to be reported to 911 because they are reporting criminal activity or a crime that has occurred. So it's of a lower priority as far as resources go, but it is something that needs to be reported through 911.
Now, in some communities, they have non-emergency numbers. Is that in place here?
It's not. We're just at a size where we need to maybe think about those kind of things, but our mission over at Emergency Communications is just that, emergency communications, and so we're not going to get off into that. We will try to, we'll try to send a call to 211 if it's appropriate, or we'll try to offload a call to a appropriate resource.
Now, when you say 211, who are you talking about?
That's the United Way of the Plains,
okay.
And they provide social services to the citizens of Sedgwick County and actually the entire state of Kansas. But in our area here, we would, on occasion, we would offload a call to them.
Now, in some situations where people feel threatened, you would encourage them to call 911 in that circumstance, or is there something else they should consider?
No, absolutely. If a person feels that their life is in danger or they're witnessing a situation that might be of some, a crime in progress or something that is harmful to people or animal or properties in progress, they should call 911 right away. And we will process that call. We'll enter it into the CAD system and make sure that the appropriate law enforcement, fire, or EMS agency is dispatched to the scene of that situation.
Okay. Now, you have employment opportunities, and I know you have some special programming there. You and I have talked about your Citizens 911 Academy.
911 Citizens Academy.
You also have an internship that can be made available to some people. Tell us about those.
Chief, as you know, over this past year here, we have experienced a couple of situations, one around the 4th of July and then again the following month during a storm situation where our telephone lines became maxed out. It stressed the 911 system to the point that citizens were receiving busy signals. They were receiving recorded message saying, "Stay on the line, the next available dispatcher." And so we realized at that point that we needed to get into public education. And so since about July of last year, we have introduced several initiatives to educate our public of all ages about this Sedgwick County 911 system. One of the things that we have started hosting is a 911 Citizens Academy. And primarily that is a 2-Saturday duration where people will come in on a Saturday for about a 4-hour period, and they will learn about the 911 system, the technologies, the rules, the regulations, the reasons we do the things we do, why we ask all those stupid questions, and then they'll go out and sit with a dispatcher or call taker. And they'll do that for 2 weeks. And then there's a third week that they'll come back and we'll just kind of streamline their time there if they want to listen in on calls or if they want to talk or whatever. And so we've done that to start educating the public. Any opportunity that we have to speak to a Rotary Club or a advisory board meeting or anything like that to get out into the public, neighborhood association, so that we can talk about their 911 system, then we'll do that. In addition, we've reached out to the local colleges and junior colleges, and we have a intern program going on. We've graduated one person already through that, and as a matter of fact, that individual is coming back to work for us this summer, just during the summer, but he got really interested in becoming a 911 dispatcher, so he's going to come back to Wichita and work this summer.
Oh, that's great.
We also have an existing intern right now from WSU who's with us, and so we're hoping that that's going to pick up a little bit too, and they're able to get college credit while they're over at 911.
That's a great idea. Now, is that limited in any way to county residents, or is it open to anyone?
No, it's open to anyone. They could actually go up to the website at www.sedgwickcounty.org and under government and then public safety, find emergency communications there. And there's a whole web page full of downloadable applications for the intern program, for the Citizens Academy, contact information for people to contact about signing up for those opportunities. So yeah, anybody, this person I'm talking about that's coming to work for us actually came from Washburn University. So anyone that's interested in learning about the 911 system, we're going to bring into the fold.
Now, could you give us that website again, or
Sure.
is there a number that people can call if they want more information about those programs?
They can call 660-4977 and ask for Major Elora Randlius. And she is the coordinator for our Quality Assurance and Training Division. And she'd be more than happy to help anybody get signed up for either the 911 advisory or the 911 Citizens Academy or the intern program.
Okay. Now, those who might be interested in employment at the 911 center, what steps are necessary there, and what kinds of education and experience would you require?
We advertise on HRE Partners, which is the website. You can go up there and look for any job opportunities. An individual has to have a high school education, no felony convictions, and be at least 18 years old, which you probably would be if you was
Sure.
High school graduate, and make application online. We receive those applications. Again, Major Randlius is in charge of that, and she goes through those applications. An individual is required to take a Wonderlic test, which is basically a intelligence test.
It sounds like the test that football players take.
It is the same, and you have to be a quarterback because you need at least a 22 on the Wonderlic to be able to pass. So you need to be a quarterback, and as well they take a typing test with a minimum of 35 words per minute.
Now, that work requires a lot of multitasking.
It does.
Are there any physical requirements for that job?
We do, if we make a conditional offer of employment, then the person is required to take a drug screen as well as a physical. Now, the physical examination is primarily about carpal tunnel, vision requirements, hearing requirements, and then they're also required to take a psychological exam.
And then the hours of work there, you're a 24-hour operation, but do your employees work 24-hour shifts, or how's that break down?
We work the traditional 8-hour shifts, a first, second, and third shift. If a person is hired on as a call taker, we have two different jobs. We have the call takers and the dispatchers. a person is initially hired on as a call taker. I actually run 5 shifts of the call takers. There's an AM shift, which runs from 10:30 in the morning until 6 p.m., and then again from 6 p.m. until 3 o'clock in the morning. And that kind of overlaps between the second and third shift, and kind of that's our high call volume time, and that's when we place some additional resources there to answer the
What would
phones.
a typical shift be like for the employees there?
As a call taker, they'll take approximately 100 telephone calls a night. One individual will, and that sounds like a lot, but you know, each call is like 3 minutes long, and so it really moves pretty quick. They come to work, they go to a squad meeting where they will receive information about what's happened over the past 24 hours, a tie-in, and then they'll go out and relieve a dispatcher or call taker wherever they're assigned that night.
Now, what kind of qualities or characteristics make for good 911 employees?
Well, somebody that's curious about what's going on, somebody who is very detail-oriented, somebody that pays close attention to details, who is accurate in entering their information into the system, people who are not afraid of shift work, who don't mind not having weekends off initially, usually, and just people who really care about taking good care of the citizens.
Okay. Now, you've talked about a number of exciting programs involving the 911 operation, and it's also one that I don't think a lot of people think about. You know, they have an emergency, they make a call, they get that service. And I want to thank you for the job you do on behalf of the men and women of our fire department. I know firsthand the value of the quality of work that your folks produce, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
Now, you've got some things coming up. We're taping this, but in the not too distant future, there is an emergency communications week, and of course, we'll be heading into the fireworks season. So, talk to us about that for a little bit.
Okay. April is recognized nationally as the 911 Public Education Month. In addition to that, during the week of April 8th through the 16th is 911 Telecommunicators Week, and that's a time when we honor the dispatchers and the call takers across the country for being 911 dispatchers and call takers. The Education Month, again, you know, it really wasn't fair when I was instructed by the commission to start working on public education. I went back and I told Major Randlius that she was going to have to take on some additional responsibilities, and you know, she really jumped to that, and training is one of her passions in life, so it wasn't really fair because she really enjoys her work, and I don't know if she's supposed to do that or not, but anyway, she really enjoyed the fact that she got a hold of USD 259 and launched an initiative over the month of April, and I'm sure it's also going to take into May, where she contacted 130 schools, and she will be going out along with some of her staff educating first grade classes for 180 classrooms. Hopefully she's going to be able to get some of those together in one, because she's going to be pretty busy, but we're focusing on the first graders, and that's going to be a constant every year project of educating first graders about how to use cell phones versus landlines and how that technology works. You know, as you know, almost every cell phone is different now, and so how to work some of the common cell phones and the landlines, and how we locate people and how we are able to process that call and what goes on behind the scenes so that they understand as well.
Yeah. Well, we're going to wrap up this episode, but before we go, is there anything that you'd like to add or perhaps highlight that we didn't?
I think that the most important thing as we reach the economic situation that we're in right now is that people step up and understand that the 911 system is a very precious resource. And I know that everybody who dials the phone 911 expects and has the right to hear a dispatcher immediately for their emergency. And so I guess just a plea to the public to think before you call 911 and to make sure that your call is actually an emergency. Please call us if you want a representative from police, fire, or EMS to come to your door, to take your report, to put your house, if your house is on fire, call us, of course. But, to not call us about things that aren't true emergencies.
All right. Well, Randy Bargdale is the director of the Emergency Communications System here in Sedgwick County and a good friend of ours. Randy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you inviting
Really
me.
appreciate you being here.
Thank you, sir.
Wichita firefighters are your friends and neighbors, and they're out there somewhere every day serving our community. Thanks for joining us on Burning Issues.